right, welcome to another episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome.
Thanks. Happy to be here. Happy to see everyone.
Today, we have a very special and different episode as we're going to be bringing you new content. We actually have two guests with us today.
Welcome to Real Estate vs. Technology, where you'll get the inside scoop from top producing real estate professionals all around the country, best practices, techniques, and learn about what technology they're using to drive to ensure their success in this world we call real estate.
We have Justin and we also have Brianna. Welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
We're doing amazing. And we have who they are. They have a tech company helping real estate agents. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, we want to find out from both of y'all, what's your history in real estate in this industry and how are you tied into the industry? Whoever wants to start first.
So I've been in the industry for about 10 years. Started like assisting, did marketing coordinator, all of that kind of stuff. Licensed selling for 6, and now it's like my entire life is real estate, obviously, because we built a real estate app. So if I'm not buying and selling homes, I'm figuring out technology to sell to buyers or to agents to buy and sell homes. That's actually how I met Justin. We were on a real estate team together, and then we've tried to figure out what can we sell to these agents who are like me and buy all the technology that's thrown at them. And yeah.
I love it. So what about you, Justin? What's your side look like?
Yeah, so I've been in real estate probably about 5 years. I got my license and I jumped in kind of solo. I did actually, so the broker I reached out to first when I got my license to hang it under him was the realtor that sold me my first house. So that's how good a job he did. I was like, can I come work for you? And he's really good, and he was into tech, and he still crushes it. But I quickly realized that it wasn't everything I thought it would be, kind of being solo. Like I couldn't just text all my friends and they'd all buy houses all of a sudden. So I ended up joining a team, which was super beneficial. I joined Mark Pattison's team over at Porchlight. That's where I met Bree. And they've got a great training program for new agents and experienced agents that just kind of helps you grow as an agent and be confident in what you're doing and having, the backup that you need to get all the jobs done. And then I went from there to a more listing heavy team. Mark's team was more of a buyer agent team. So then I got to see the other side of the transaction. And we were, the company I went to was both flipping, like buying, rehabbing and then reselling them. And then if that didn't quite pencil out for the homeowner, we would just list and sell their house for them. So very list heavy, cool little lead gen that they had over there. But yeah, doing 15 to 25 listings a month. So super busy and a lot to do, keeping everything organized over there. So,
that's awesome. So I love the dynamic because actually I've heard behind the scenes before we went on the air here, Brianna was telling me about some of the stories, the cookies, and you're in ketosis. I know that's probably for a whole nother story.
Yeah, he wasn't friendly. Like, who doesn't like homemade cookies?
No.
I wouldn't like it. Don't worry, Justin. I wouldn't like it either if I was in ketosis.
Yeah, not very cool. So yeah, that's kind of how we got introduced to each other. And since we built this tech, I've kind of taken a step back. I've gone headfirst into this company. So Bree was better at helping real estate clients anyway, so all my business goes to her, and
nice.
She crushes that. So it's been
awesome.
A really great partnership.
So that's actually a perfect segue. So let's segue into like the areas that you're serving, and either for like the technology and maybe also Bree where you're serving, kind of double in that, and then give us some context about what is your company and what does it do?
Yeah. So I service for real estate all of San Diego County. I'm a San Diego native, so I know the city like inside and out. All my friends and family are here, so I'm kind of driving all over because if I have like a family member who's like, I want to buy here or sell up here, I'm like, okay, be there in 30 minutes or whatever. So so I'm all over San Diego County, and then we actually are just doing our pre-sale right now. Like we initially have just been in San Diego because we were keeping it a little bit closer and just trying to navigate the new tech and make sure that we have an MVP and make sure that we're doing everything to make sure that we can support our current clientele. But it's ideally going to be nationwide, globally, as far as we can take it.
Love it. That's awesome. So give us some context, Justin, behind the platform, name of the company, what you guys do.
Yeah, so the company's called Lundy. The website's getlundy.io. And this was one of those things we were talking before the show. This was an itch that we had to scratch. We kept seeing the same problem over and over and again with every single listing. And even as a buyer's agent, there are tons of questions that buyers have. And there's usually like the top 4 or 5 questions that they always ask. As soon as you open the door, they're like, oh, what kind of floor is this? What kind of countertop? What are the schools? Things that maybe don't fit on the MLS that you just are prepared to hear. And then if you don't know, you're like, I'll get that to you later, or you text the listing agent and hope they're around. But we were trying to find a better way for that moment when you list a property, and if it's under $1 million or whatever your threshold is for not being at every showing, the moment that your home is being represented by some buyer's agent that knows nothing about that property other than what's on the internet. How do we get more data to them right then in that moment? So that's what we built. We built a super intuitive, easy to use platform for agents to build custom Alexa skills for every one of their listings, so that when buyers are there unrepresented or with their own buyer's agent in the house, they can actually walk right up to the Alexa device and say, hey, Alexa, tell me about this house, or what are the schools for this home, or how old is the roof? And all of those answers can be asked in real time right there on the spot. So there's no more, well, I'll get that and find out and get it back to you. And, this vicious circle of I'll text you and you text the homeowner and then text me back. And by the time I get the answer, we've written an offer on another home, right? So it's just real data in live time, and utilizing a voice technology it just can't be ignored anymore.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely ties into how these homes are going more smart homes with the refrigerator, the Ring, the net, everything. So I love how you guys are bringing that forward. So this is a perfect segue into the next question when it comes to technology. So when it comes to technology, what do you find the biggest challenges? And maybe we can have this concept be more geared towards your business. For what's the biggest, adapting, say for your agent signing up for the system? What are some challenges? What are some hurdles? Give us some context.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's funny that you use the word adapting, because that's literally what came to mind is adaptability. Is it's so hard. The average realtor, because we obviously have done a lot of research on who our clientele is going to be, is a 55-year-old female. And even as a millennial, adapting to all this new technology is still hard for me at times, and I've grown up in it. And so trying to get users to use our product, and anything in technology with real estate, it tends to be more difficult, because either you have one side of the spectrum where, it's the MLS and it's built by dinosaurs, and you're trying to use this, they're oh, we did this whole rollout, but you're this is still so ancient. But you have that end of it, and then you have this new technology, which enter Lundyio, which is awesome, exactly, point out. But it's also hard because we've kind of run into this issue where it is so easy. You just go into your portal and you enter the information, and now you have a live skill. But it's almost intimidating, because it can't be that easy. It's like an iPhone. You just put all your information, and now you have the cloud, and you're you don't have to take your SIM card to Verizon and plug everything in like you used to. It's is this that easy? And that's kind of what Lundy is we've made it so easy that it's almost intimidating in a sense, because it's new technology that no one's used before. So it's just, adapting to the new tech that we're offering.
And on that note, we did find that, because what we built is a platform for agents to build their own Alexa skills. And that's what the apps are called, or skills. We built this platform, and literally all they have to do is punch in the home address of their new listing. All of the information is public, preloads into there. And then anything about the neighborhood or upgrades or community events, things that the homeowners want to pass along, the agent simply has to click a button for that question and it shoots right to the homeowner, where they can then edit it. They can push a button and hear what it's going to sound like when Alexa says it. They can see examples of good answers and bad answers. So like they can save it, come back to it and answer, finish answering it later. It's just so easy that we built it and we were like, look, we built you this platform to build Alexa skills. And agents were like, why would I want an Alexa skill? So we had to like back out of that message and then start showing them Alexa skills and be like, look at this Alexa skill answering all these questions about your listing. And they were like, oh, that's sick. How do I build one? And they were like, here you go. Here's your platform. So it was just like you were saying, it's hard to adapt to something so new for everybody, not just the agent that has to put in the information and whose listing it is, but even for buyers, like they're not used to walking into a stranger's home and talking to their Alexa device. We have to educate and train everybody in the industry for this one until it becomes normal and until it becomes disappointing when you walk in and there's not an Alexa sitting there ready to tell you about, all the additional stuff in the house. So there's a lot of challenges.
I can imagine. That's awesome too. It seems like the agents that adapt to this the quickest are really going to set themselves apart in the market as well, which is...
Oh, totally. We have been just in a free beta here in San Diego for the better part of the year. And the agents that have taken this and started using it in their listing presentations are just crushing it, because the homeowners, once they realize that they're going to be passing all that information to buyers, they feel like they're actually involved in selling their home. They're not answering a bunch of disclosures and then getting out of the way. Yeah. They're like, oh, so I can tell them about the Halloween block party where, Fred gets the cake and all the adults go there and the kids go do the thing. Like, we're like, yeah, that's what we want to know, because that's what buyers want to know. They want a snapshot into what their life could look like if they were to buy this house. And typically you don't get that. You have to buy the house and then meet your neighbors and then hope it's cool. Otherwise you end up like, what's the stat? It's like 60% of people regret buying their home within the first 2 years because of all just the lack of information.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of chime in on two things. One is that being able to market your property as a seller and provide that snapshot to the buyer, not only does it streamline things, but it saves so much time for the back and forth, as you said, from texting and let me put all your questions together and send it over to the listing agent. And that efficiency within the market is going to be mind-boggling in terms of communication and being able to delegate it to technology. So I wanted to touch on that point. And then another thing is, you made me spark in here on the investment side, is when you're looking at an investment property and there is not a lot of information that is going to be the due diligence that you are looking for in an investment property, that is, this product is going to kill it there, because there's not the MLS doesn't provide a correct snapshot for investment properties when it comes to what's a rent roll, what's a P&L, like what am I looking at numbers, cap rates, GRMs. Like I need to know everything about this house right now, or this duplex or this apartment complex right now.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a big selling point in an expansion market. So
even being in my own home, I would love to be on Zillow, Redfin, wherever you're searching for homes, and just be like, hey, Alexa, tell me about 123 Main Street. I want some additional information. Not even need to be in the home, walking through the home, but be on the other side.
That's right. So, and that's what kind of hit us when the stay-at-home order came in, was all of those, just here locally, the forward-thinking agents that were utilizing this realized that it's not just live in the Alexa device that's in the listing. It's all Alexa devices. All Alexa anything. You could have a Fire Stick. It could be the Alexa app on your phone. So once they realized that, they started pairing it with their virtual home tours that were posting on Facebook. Here's your virtual home tour. By the way, ask your Alexa these questions about the house. And all of a sudden, you've got buyers at their own homes doing a Q&A, figuring out all there is to know.
Wow. That's huge. I think that ties in perfect with our next question. Like, what's the biggest advancement with technology in real estate? And we're going to keep this focus on your product, but I think those definitely are some big case in points. And is there anything else that you want to add to that?
Well, it's funny, when we were going over these questions before, I was like, is it too like conceited of us to say like we're the number one thing?
Not at all.
But I mean, obviously we're here to talk about, we're like, oh, we could talk about like our CRM or something else, but really we are like the number one thing of an advancement. Like there's nothing else like this on the market. And we really are changing the dynamic of like how buyers get information, and like touching on like what you guys were saying, like, like bridging the gap between the buyer and the seller, and then giving them that involvement. Like this is everything that like any, like it, and it benefits all parties. It benefits the buyer's agent, it benefits the listing agent, the buyers, the sellers. And typically when you have these like new tech products, it's
so cute. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, but usually when you have new tech products, it's for you specifically. It's for you as a buyer's agent. It's for you as a listing agent. There's nothing that's encompassing of all parties. And now we've created something that brings all of them together. And it's not like, buyer versus other buyer. Like we're making it so that everyone has the same information, and that it's a platform for everyone for their involvement.
I love that.
Great. It's
And
peer-to-peer. That's awesome.
We're very blessed to be able to showcase you on Real Estate First Technology. So when you are in every home and every cell phone across the nation and potentially the world, you heard it here first. Real Estate First Technology. So we're going to the next segment of the show. Dan's going to do some deep dive and some more technical stuff going on here around your company and real estate and technology. So take it away, Dan.
And this may be your product, but what do you see, and let's kind of talk about the skew of things in terms of what's evolving right now in real estate technology. What do you see as the biggest disruptor in this space?
Us.
I love it.
So in that regards, and she just touched on it, we being kind of first to market in the space, we aren't disrupting the industry in regards to like taking place of something else. We are changing drastically the amount of information and the type of information and how buyers are going to access it. So like you guys both touched on, they're not going to have to wait. It's going to be instant. They're not going to have to pick anything up. They're not going to have to touch anything. They're just going to, in a home, out loud say, oh, tell me about this house, or what are these countertops? And they're going to hear the answer immediately, which I would say is pretty disruptive to the industry, but
Your own lane.
I was going to say something on that note in terms of disruption. I'm not too familiar with skills on Alexa. I will say this. I am a Google home, and I have Google everywhere. If I say it again, it'll start.
Don't worry, we're coming for you next. So.
yeah.
But in terms of being able to answer those questions in different languages, is that something your product is going to do?
Yeah, one day, when we're ready for that, that's not hard at all.
Nice.
Cool. Awesome. That's awesome. Let's talk about the real estate market from a whole on the technology side. What do you see is going to happen in the next 2 to 5 years in terms of the traditional role of a real estate agent and how they use technology in their business?
I mean, it's like ever evolving. Like even from when I first got into real estate was you would take your Century card and you would have to have it renewed, or else you'd have to stick in that little device, and you only had 2 renewals on the phone. And if it wasn't renewed, you couldn't show that property. Now I use facial recognition and I open a lockbox from a block away with a Bluetooth. So like we've seen like so many changes already, and it's continuing on that path. So it's kind of like either you get on the bandwagon and learn how to use the new tech that comes towards you to sell homes, or you're kind of kicked to the curb. Because as a realtor, like kind of what Justin was saying is like our plan is to be like, you walk into a house and you're let down if there's not a Lundy skill there. Kind of the same thing is like if you're an agent and you're not using Lundy to sell a house, that the homeowner's gonna be like, no, why aren't you using this? And so there's so much new technology that's coming our way that you kind of have to like figure it out and start utilizing it, because if not, like you're out.
Yeah, we've definitely had, because we in our heads have built, our client's journey, and we were like, this is the new agents, crushing it. And our biggest adapters were older agents that were just terrified of getting left behind. And it totally blew our minds because we totally didn't see that coming. And they were the biggest people to jump on. And we're starting a pre-sale probably today, the day this launches next week. And we were kind of teasing it around San Diego a little bit. Essentially what it is, for $125, you can join when we launch the real product. What we've had is just an MVP. We're going to be launching a private launch in October, where you get this, and you have to participate right now in the pre-sale to be able to access it in October. If you miss the pre-sale, you're going to have to wait until spring 2021 when we've rolled it out to anybody else. So for $125, you get your first 12 listings and access to the tech in October during the private launch. And our first sale, just not even marketing it, just having the website live, was a 55-year-old female agent right in the middle of our demographic. Just like minutes within it being up on the internet, no marketing at all.
That's
somehow landed there and signed up right away. Okay.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna adapt the last two questions and kind of say I'm gonna push this more towards the marketing and where agents can find you. Where should agents first look for your product? Is this only going to be in the San Diego market when you launch, or West Coast, the whole entire United States, the world? Let's start there.
All US is where we're launching. But yeah, like right now with the pre-sale, and what we can do is we can send you guys an individual link that you guys can share with your guys's followers or group, whatever you call them. And that way they can save $25. So instead of it being $125, it would be $100. And that would be like from your guys' custom referral link. But yeah, we're going to be open to the entire United States. But if you sign up now for the pre-sale, then from fall till spring, you're one of the only exclusive agents who will be using it. So
we have a limited number of seats. We don't want to say what that number is, but it's pretty limited. So we would recommend anybody that that is forward thinking and could utilize this in their listing presentation to sign up as soon as they can.
And just to add to it, not like full discrepancy, like full transparency here. Like, we're not getting paid or nothing. This is all just, like, we're just being real here. And it's so true. The worst thing that an agent can do, in my opinion, or have happen to them, is have their consumer, their potential buyer or seller, give them marketing tips or give them suggestions or give them ideas. You should be doing video. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And I just bought a house, my wife and I, about a month ago, and sold a house and just relocated from California now here in Arizona. And I did that. I mean, hence I might be a little different because of Liftoff here in front of you, but I was giving them suggestions like this would help my process. So I think this would definitely be something that if you're an agent out there listening, or if you are out there listening, definitely, take this in consideration and give yourself a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And can they go to your website, Instagram, YouTube to get a demonstration or a video or explainer video, something to give them some context and kind of digest that information?
Yeah. So if you go to getlundy.io, there we go.
Nice.
That little play how it works video is a whole rundown of how it works. And then you can go through, you can also check out our Instagram. It's lundy.io. And that has like more content. We have a Facebook page. We have LinkedIn. We have it all. But yeah, I would say going to the website would be the quickest way to get all the information in one place.
Yeah. And then you guys can post a link, right? Like with YouTube and Facebook and all those places.
Yep.
That link will get you $25 off, and it will run you right to our website.
Nice. Fantastic.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
I'm following.
Perfect.
I'm following too, and it's exciting news, and it's a new thing that I think everyone should think about. And this is a great way for us to kick off our new segments, and you're one of the first tech companies that we're interviewing and putting out there.
I just want to touch on one quick point, is that the listing agent or buyer agent who can market extremely well, always be having the cutting edge tools, making the system streamlined, being able to get max exposure, max conversion. I think this product is exactly that. It is what it's going to be a tool in their business that's not going to leave their tool belt moving forward. So that's awesome.
And imagine if you miss the pre-sale and you get a listing. Most people selling their homes are also buying a house. So at some point you're going to be out shopping with that same home seller, and they're going to come across this. They're going to find out all about a neighborhood while they're standing there in a listing, and then they're going to look at you and say, hey, let's start using this to sell my house. And you're going to say, I can't. I didn't sign up during the pre-sale.
Gotta wait. I love it.
He's just incorporating the FOMO right there.
Yeah, it's.
I have it bad, so I know what it's like.
I'm gonna buy it for my principal broker, so you got a sale for me. So
that's awesome.
There you go. We'll have to think about how we can roll this out and have a nice partnership relationship with Liftoff. So we'll talk more about that off air. But this is awesome. I think, does that pretty much sum it up, Dan? I think we kind of like cut to the chase, like floor is yours. I pretty much said everything that you pretty much needed to say. So I think we're going to end the episode on that note. If there's nothing else to put out there, I think we pretty much covered it all. And Dan, thanks so much for being on the show today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, guys. It was great to meet you both. And I think there's big things coming with this. Great job.
Awesome.
Thinking about this product.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Yeah, thanks to both of our guests here today, Justin and also Brianna. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for our guests and listeners listening on today's Real Estate First Technology podcast. And we want to make sure you all have massive success. That's the goal of these podcasts, to be able to give back to the real estate community. So we'll see you on the next one.
Hope you found value. If you liked the episode, give it a thumbs up. Comment below with what you learned. And if you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified for new podcast episodes coming out. Now, I want to go ahead and show you, if you see here on your screen, you can click join our Facebook group page, and you can go ahead and be a member of our community page. We love to be able to share what type of technology you're using on this page. And also, if you want to go ahead and do some networking all across the country, you can go ahead and network on this Facebook group page. If you're a real estate professional, focus on a specific niche, whether it's a buyer, specific type, seller, specific type, or a specific area, we would love to hear your story and how are you growing and scaling your business using technology to focus on that demographic. And if you're a technology owner, have a technology you want to share, and you want to be featured on Real Estate First Technology, the podcast, all you have to go ahead and do is send us an email at reversetechtalk@gmail.com, and we'll see you on the next one.